Hey everyone, so glad you're joining us here on Facebook Live. We are about to get started on our Dayna Simmons show on 560 AM KLVI. It begins here shortly. Wanted to let you know we have a couple of open houses today. If you're interested in taking a peek, if you're in the Orange area, you can head out to, let's see, that one is 1095 Cedar Ridge in Orange. It's in the Little Cypress Mauriceville School District. It is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage listed for $375. Jessica Wellborn is out there and she'd love to tour you and let you take a look at that property. We also have Lauren Camacho over at 19 Oakley in Beaumont. That one is a 5-bedroom, 4 full bath, 2 half bath, 4-car garage and has one of the coolest setups. If you're a golfer and you want to do that golfing scene upstairs, they have the whole shebang. So go tell Lauren hello and take a peek at that property. Jessica and Lauren will be at those homes from 12 to 1. And then we're going to have some tours online that you'll be able to watch of those properties as well. But during the radio show, I have Chris Boone, who is our interim city manager with City of Beaumont. And then I also have Kristi Dourian. She is the mortgage lender with First Financial Bank. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened last week, how the Fed went up on our interest rates. How does that impact what's going on in our real estate market? How is it impacting us here locally? We're going to have those conversations here in just a bit. We'd love for you to join us. Tune in and also call in with your questions. You can call 409-896-KLVI, and I'm sure they'd love to answer your questions. If we don't have the answer, we'll find it for you. So I'm looking forward to joining you guys for the next hour. See you in a bit. Well, good afternoon, Southeast Texas. This is Dayna Simmons. I'm so excited to be joining you this afternoon for a little while. So we're going to be talking about the market today. Some interesting news happened with the Fed, and we're going to talk about how is that going to impact us here locally. And joining me today, I have Chris Boone, our city manager with the City of Beaumont. We're going to talk about the great things that are going on here. And then I also have Kristi Dourian with First Financial Bank, and she's going to give us an idea of how did that how did that rate hike from the Fed impact our mortgage interest rate? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, I wanted to talk about how's the market. So I've had so many people saying, so how did it impact the market? What's going on? Well, I'll tell you right now, we're not seeing a great impact at all. And Kristi will talk in a little bit about how it's not really impact mortgage rates at this point. So what we're seeing in my office is we still have a tremendous number of buyers who are needing homes. We're still seeing a lack of inventory in Southeast Texas. I did have someone this week come up to me and say, oh my goodness, is this 2008? So I thought I would pull some data from 2008. You know, our thoughts and opinions, while, that's all good and fine, what does the data say? What do the numbers say? That's what I always want to look at. Where are we look different from 2008 and that? So I pulled that data. Here's what we have. June 2008 was a very different situation than June 2020 closed. And why am I pulling June? Because we have all of the data. July's not finished, so we don't have all of the July data yet. In June of 2008, what we saw was a higher inventory. We had about a 7-month inventory. That is a little bit on a buyer's side of the market. So we've talked before about how many months of inventory is a seller's market, how much is even, and how much is a buyer's market. Well, we know that 5 to 6 months is a pretty even market. That's a good, stable real estate market. When you begin to go beyond 6 months, you're looking more at a buyer's market. So we were at about a 7-month, not a terrible market, but a higher market than average. And this market that we're in right now, we're looking at about a 3-month inventory. So you can see our supply is still lower, and we are still in a seller's market. We're also seeing that our prices are still doing fine at this point. They are stabilizing a little bit. We're not seeing as many over asking price offers, but we are still seeing some. We had them last week. We had multiple offer situations with a few going over the asking price, but it has softened just a bit. So we're not seeing it soften a lot. We're still seeing a very good market. When we look at where were the prices, in 2008, I was kind of shocked by this. 2008 average sales price, you kind of begin to forget how low they were. Average sales price was $140,000, $141,000. Average days on market then were at 107. So, there we're looking at about a 3.5 months of market time when you're on the market. What we're seeing right now is an average sales price of $236,000. So you're looking at almost $100,000 increase.
Incredible.
So who says real estate's not a good investment? Year over year, even if we see a little decline, over the long haul, real estate is always a good investment. When we look at the average days on market in our June of last month, we see 67 days. So about 2 months versus about 3.5 months in 2008. So I just wanted to give you kind of just a little snapshot of what is the market, how are we now, what's going on. And while I can't predict the future, I can look at the past and see how things have happened.
And I think we can throw in interest rates too.
Right.
In 2008, I just, according to some data online, 6.8%.
Yeah. So, and we're still lower than that. So when you're looking at the market, and I have some people saying, oh, I'm going to wait for the interest rates to go back down. Let me tell you, you're going to be waiting a very long time because I don't see that happening. And while, again, I don't see the future, I can't imagine that the interest rates are going to go to where they were over the last 5 years. So the market is the best when the time to buy was yesterday, and if not yesterday, today. Because tomorrow, it's going to be harder. Every single year, I see it year over year. The benefit is that I've been doing this almost 30 years. And so when you've done it for that long and you have the experience over time, it's what I was talking to with another person who's in the real estate industry who's been doing it a while. You know, there are some people who are saying, oh, I'm so nervous about what's going to happen. I'm not nervous at all. I have no fear. I've seen what's happened. I know what we do and how we do it. And I'm not afraid of what's going to happen because I also know what it looks like and everything that's coming to Southeast Texas. So we're going to talk to Chris Boone about that here shortly. But Chris, let's go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about you. You are the interim city manager for the City of Beaumont.
Correct.
And tell everyone how long you've been doing that, how you got to that job, and how you got to Southeast Texas.
Sure. And again, thank you for having me
Yeah.
today. So, yes, I've been in the position of interim city manager since April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, our prior city manager, Kyle Hayes, did a tremendous job
did.
for our community for
Yes.
decades. And so, been in that position since April 1st. Worked for the city since, I guess, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So, going on about 16 years. And really worked in the capacity of planning and economic development for most of those years, but again, have stepped up to this role more recently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, if you had to say the biggest surprise for you in stepping into this role, what would you say that would be?
I had the good fortune of, kind of shadowing Kyle for so many years, so not too many surprises. The hard part is kind of being on the community development side of things for so long. You have a lot of whether they're good organizations or good individuals that are trying to make the community better. Right. And so, they're sometimes asking for certain things for the city to do or funds. And the hard part is, having to say, we can't do that right now.
Right.
At the end of the day, we, like any organization, we are, you've got to adhere to a budget.
Right.
And so sometimes saying no is hard.
Yeah. And before we started, we were talking about you have two daughters who are one in college and one that's graduated, and then your wife works at Lamar University.
Yeah, so Rebecca, she's been at Lamar for 20 years as of August. So in a couple weeks, will make 20 years. And she is currently the chair of the history department. So.
Yeah, well, love that you guys are so plugged into our community and a part of that. And you had big shoes to fill, and you're doing an amazing job of that. So thank you for that. Kristi Dourian, she's with First Financial Bank. Tell us a little bit about you, Kristi.
Well, thanks for having me again, Dayna, and hello, Southeast Texas. My name is Kristi Dourian. I work for the best bank out there, First Financial Bank. We are a Texas bank. We do secondary market lending and in-house lending, and I have been a loan officer for residential mortgages for, I think we're going on 13 years. And so I haven't seen as much as Dayna has seen, but I've seen a lot. I came in after the 2008 crisis was over and things were, we were on the tail end of that, but we've seen a lot of changes in the industry and a lot of peaks and valleys in the last 12, 13 years in our economy. But like Dayna said, I think, like you said, Dayna, we roll on with the experience that we have. We make wise choices, and we know what we're doing. So I'm optimistic too.
And the thing that you talk about, you were in 2008, and one of the things that I think people fail to remember about that time period was so many people could get a loan so easily. We said it was the mirror test.
Yes.
They would put the mirror up to their chin, and if it fogged, they got a loan.
Yeah.
So the requirements have changed significantly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, so I was coming into the industry in 2010 after all of the Dodd-Frank and all of these changes had been enacting. And over the next several years, lots of different regulations rolled out, and it changed the face of what we did.
Right.
But really, being in Southeast Texas, our lending institutions, our local lenders, banks, and credit unions, never really strayed too far from what the sound lending practices were.
You're exactly
So it
right.
wasn't, that and a combination of other things. I don't think our area was impacted as much as it was, nationwide. So.
Yeah, and let me say there are a few things that contributed to that in other areas. Number one, because the state of Texas didn't allow home equity loans for greater than 80%,
Yes.
there was equity in
Yes.
people's homes, even when property values began to drop.
Yes, Texas law protects the equity
It did.
and the rights of the homeowners.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
And people may not have been happy about that in the prior years because they wanted all of their money out of their home.
Right.
But in the end, it was such a great protection for us in the state of Texas.
Yes.
The other situation for us here locally is we have seen a steady increase in our property values over the years. We haven't seen, 100% growth over a 5-year period. When I visit I go to a lot of masterminds across the nation with top producing real estate agents. And one of the things that in the last 6 months and last year that kind of amazed me, and you guys I'm sure have heard about it, would be people were making offers $100,000 over the price.
Yes, that was happening even in, as you know, Austin, Dallas,
Right.
Texas, some of the bigger metro areas in Texas.
But in Southeast Texas, we didn't see that. And so did we see over asking price? Absolutely. We saw that, but not even close to $100,000, or I didn't see one like that at all. So our situation here locally is that, no, we haven't increased our sales price by a lot in the last 5 years when other people may have. You can see since 2008, average sales price $100,000 more, but that's going to be a gradual increase over the last 13, 14 years. So that gives us a slow increase versus that immediate increase, so that when things start to happen, we're protected here. We also have a lot of amazing things coming to Southeast Texas, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, about what's coming to Beaumont. We've talked in the past about what's coming to Orange County, what's coming to Jefferson County, billions of dollars of industry coming to our area. So I think while a lot of people are banging the drum that it's all doom and gloom, and I'm not naive to believe that we're not going to be impacted here in some way. I do not believe we're going to be impacted the way a lot of other people are going to be impacted as far as real estate.
That's life, though. And
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we're realistic and we look at, we gather the data, we look at where we've been, we look at our current circumstances, we make wise choices, and we move forward and focus on the future, we're going to be fine.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to talk more about that in our next segment. But first, I want to tell you guys a little bit about the fact that Jessica Wellborn is out at 1095 Cedar Ridge in Orange, and that's actually Little Cypress Mauriceville School District. She has that house open for you from 12 to 1 today. This is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, and it is on just under half an acre. You're going to want to run out there and take a peek at that house. It is gorgeous. Tell Jessica hello and let her tour you and show you that property. When we come back, we're going to talk more about what's going on in our economy, how is it impacting us locally, and what is happening here in Southeast Texas. So don't go away. This is the Dayna Simmons Show.
Hey, Jessica Wellborn here, buyer's specialist with Dayna Simmons Real Estate, and today I am at 1095 Cedar Ridge in Orange, which is the Little Cypress Mauriceville School District, a school district that many people love and want to be in. So first of all, it is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage house. It's priced at $375, and it's just under 2,500 square feet. It is a wonderful open floor plan house with a great room in it, and I can't wait to show you guys. First, let's start right inside the entryway. is the great room, and it is an open living room with wood floors and tile. In fact, something a lot of people are looking for is this is a home with no carpet. So with kids and pets, that's always super helpful. It does have a formal dining room with plenty of space for your family at holiday meals and things. Also a wood-burning fireplace and higher ceilings with gorgeous crown molding and open windows to the backyard. Also in the kitchen is an eat-in area, so let's go see that. Here in the kitchen, we have tons of cabinet space, which no one's ever said too many cabinets in a kitchen, right? We have tons of cabinet space and tons of cabinets, countertops, storage space for your groceries. One of my favorite things are all of these upgraded appliances. They have KitchenAid brand appliances. They're very nice commercial type appliances, and they all match. Refrigerator matches the oven and microwave and dishwasher. There's also, this area is open to an eat-in area. So it's open for casual dining and then open on both sides toward the living room and toward the dining room. Here on the right side of the kitchen is the master bedroom. Now this house has a split floor plan. Master over here and then the 3 other bedrooms on the other side of the house, which is great if you have children or guests, so you still have your privacy. This master bedroom has a beautiful tray ceiling and also gorgeous wood floors, and it opens into a really nice master bathroom. This master bathroom includes a standalone tub with a separate shower, a walk-in closet, and 2 separate sinks. To top it all off, this house has a great backyard, including covered entertainment spaces for family and friends to gather. It also has beautiful lawn with a privacy fence and a fire pit. And in addition to the 2-car garage, it has a shop and a covered RV area. That would be great. Thanks y'all for joining in and listening and watching our live open house today. We'll be here from 12 to 1. I'd love to see you here.
Welcome back. This is Dayna Simmons, and we are talking about the current market and how it's impacting us and what you can expect or what we are looking at for the next several months here in Southeast Texas and things to come. If you're out driving around and you want to go do a quick walkthrough of a property, we have Jessica Wellborn at 1095 Cedar Ridge in Orange. If you did not or do not have a chance to run out there, our Facebook Live has a video on there that you can take a peek at. So if you don't have a chance to do that today, go find our Facebook Live and you can take a look at this gorgeous property. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath on almost half an acre. 2455 square feet. It is so beautiful. You'll want to see it. Also, we have Lauren Camacho out at our open house at 19 Oakley Boulevard, and she is touring people of that house. So in Beaumont, if you're driving around, go run and say hi to Lauren. And our next segment on our Facebook Live, we're going to have a video of that as well. Man, that house is so fun. I don't know if any of you remember, that is the house that about 12 years ago burned down. And it burned down to the ground. And so they rebuilt it. So it's like only a 12-year-old house over there on Oakley, and it is gorgeous. So go take a peek. I'm joined today by Kristi Dourian with First Financial Bank, and we've been having a lot of conversation about how the Fed rate didn't impact mortgage rates at this point. Now, we don't see the future and how that might impact it eventually. We don't know. So if you're thinking about buying a house, don't delay is my thought. So let's help you find something. And you can give us a call at 409-866-8326, which is 409-866-TEAM. And one of our ISAs will visit with you. I think it's Paula on duty this week. We always have someone ready to take your call, a licensed realtor who can give you information. So give us a call if we can help you. And you can always go to the Dayna Simmons website, which is DaynaSimmonsRealEstate.com. And if you can't remember that, you can do DSRE.com. We've shortened it. We love that. We just got that. We're so excited. You don't have to spell the whole thing out. DSRE.com. We also have Chris Boone here with us. He's the interim city manager, and we've been visiting a little bit in the beginning about what that means. But Chris, I'd love to hear, what are some of the cool things going on in Beaumont, and what would you like to share with our listeners about what you guys are doing?
Well, just, kind of to echo a little bit of what we were talking about earlier, what we're seeing in terms of permitting, in terms of platting,
Yeah.
Residential, the multifamily side, we've had, I think, 4 or 5 complexes come online, kind of in the major drive area.
Mm-hmm.
Single family, we've got more than a dozen units that have been platted and recorded in the last year.
Right.
That's new subdivisions?
Yeah, like new units, right?
New units,
so
yeah.
roughly 500 lots,
Wow.
which again, that translates to clearly there's a demand.
Yes.
And so kind of like we were talking about earlier, yes, I mean, there's a lot of volatility kind of in the economy. And of course, the Fed's trying to raise interest to try to address some of these inflationary pressures, which, we at the city, along with everybody else, having to deal with. But we feel like our fundamentals are so strong, petrochemical. A lot of this inflationary pressure is coming from, fuel prices,
Right.
Europe, everything going on over in Ukraine. And so, with us being such a source or an answer to a lot of those issues to some degree, we feel like our fundamentals are solid. And so we're
Yeah.
pretty we're realistic about the uncertainty, but we're pretty bullish.
Yeah, I'm 100% agree with you, and I think that's just based on what we know. I mean, sometimes you want to say your opinion is this, that, or the other, but when we look at what we have and the resources we have here, it just is, it's still looking really good for us.
Right, and so I don't know if you're aware, we just inked an economic development deal. Of course, don't know if it'll come to fruition, but we expect it to. And that's a biofuels plant with a group called OCI, and be just to the southeast of Lamar, just outside the city limit. And that potentially could be, it's 2 different projects in 2 different phases of each. That could be up to 4.9 billion with a B.
Wow.
That translates to what could be 2,000 construction jobs and could be 240 permanent jobs.
Yeah.
So, you add that to what we've got going already, LNG, we've got the deepening and widening project. And so, we're pretty positive on the future.
You
Yeah.
said 4.9
$9
billion.
That's amazing. And when you talk to other people in other areas, and they get so excited whenever they're talking about their economic development that goes into, the millions.
Mhm.
And when you think about, my mind can't almost grasp a 4.9 billion with a B. That's like beyond what most people would ever think they could get in their city, in their county.
Yeah, it's all relative, and so we are so blessed in this area to have kind of the infrastructure we have. So I mean,
Yeah.
we have a tremendous port. They've done,
Right.
are doing a lot of investment right now in their infrastructure. Of course, we have rail. We're on the interstate. We have LIT in Lamar here. So the fundamentals, the petrochemical industry, it's all relative. A lot of communities, of course, would kill for a lot of those things.
Absolutely.
And so
Port of Beaumont is huge.
Yeah.
I never realized how high up it ranks on the.
Yes, so when
on
you're
the
talking about
list.
tonnage, especially when you're talking about military movement of goods, it ranks pretty high, sometimes the highest in the nation.
Yeah,
a
it's
critical
important.
facility.
Yeah, and you talk about all of those things, and all of those pieces together just create a foundation for people who are wanting to move to our area. But it also takes our people and what our people are willing to do, and how you guys reach out and our economic development programs that seek these people out to let them know all that we have here as well.
Yeah, so we have a good, pretty good economic development infrastructure here. So we've got the city. We, of course, partner with the Chamber of Commerce. We have the Regional Economic Ready Group. We work with the governor's office. So it's a group effort. And as you know, we refer to our, the Golden Triangle. So we're not trying to compete with Orange or compete with Port Arthur. We all want to work together
Right.
to make sure that we can land some of these bigger projects.
Love
And
that.
so it's a pretty well-oiled machine.
Yeah, and so when I've had, I had Kristi Young with the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Director, and then we also had the Orange County economic development coordinator with us as well. And what I remember from the two of them together, it equals like $45 billion worth of things that are coming to Southeast Texas. I mean, industry, money.
Incredible.
Yeah, and again, it's all relative. We get a little beaten up because we'd like to have a Buc-ee's, right? Everybody wants a Buc-ee's. And, that's great. It's a lot of good jobs, but when you're talking about billion, it's a different order of magnitude, because what that does is it brings, you think about the secondary and tertiary jobs that comes along with that, not to mention, demand for housing, so, fills up our restaurants, so it's.
Yeah, it is a huge trickle-down effect, and I love the way the Golden Triangle does work together, everyone together, because every single one of us, we benefit,
Right.
Every person. So all of those things are amazing. So we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more about how the city is running and what they have coming up and what's going on there. And then Kristi's going to talk a little bit about the mortgage rates and what we can expect or what we see on that end as well. Man, we've got a jam-packed show. You don't want to miss it. You're not going to want to go away. Remember, we've got those 2 open houses going on, so go check those out, and we'll be back here shortly. Don't go away.
Hey guys, it's Lauren with Dayna Simmons Real Estate. We're doing our last live open house event of the summer here at 19 Oakley in Weston, Beaumont. This house features 5 bedrooms, 4 full bathrooms, 2 half baths. It's almost 6,000 square feet sitting on half an acre, and it has all the luxurious details that you can imagine. One of the many great things about this home is that it was rebuilt from the ground up in 2012. In the main area, we have engineered hardwood flooring, a gas fireplace with granite surround, beautiful paneled ceiling, and crown molding. You also have a sunroom that opens up into the main living area for an abundance of natural light. In the kitchen, you have granite countertops, custom cabinets, you have an upscale Viking cooktop. You also have your stainless steel appliances, your sub-zero refrigerator, and all of the other things that a chef could want in a kitchen. Off of the main living area, you have your master bedroom. You have the engineered hardwood flooring that flows right into here. You also have an office nook in your master bedroom, along with the most luxurious bathroom there is. In the bathroom, you have double sinks, granite countertops. You also have a separate vanity space, along with a walk-in shower, soaking tub, and you have his and her closets as well. This is the house that just keeps on giving. Upstairs, you have 4 bedrooms, all with walk-in closets. You have this huge game room with vaulted ceilings, built-ins, plantation shutters. Along with that, you also have a bonus room that's currently being used as a golf simulator room and a theater. Outside, you have your very own private oasis. While we're in the middle of Weston, Beaumont, you have very low traffic noise here. We're out on our covered patio, and off of the covered patio, you have your in-ground sparkling pool with hot tub. So if you guys would like to come take a tour of this beautiful home, I'll be here today from 12 to 1. We're at 19 Oakley, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Welcome back. This is Dayna Simmons, and I'm joined today by Chris Boone, interim city manager with the City of Beaumont, and Kristi Dourian, mortgage lender with First Financial Bank. And we've been talking about how things are going here in Southeast Texas. And in our last segment, Chris was just sharing about some of the things that are coming to Southeast Texas and how impactful that will be in a positive way to our community and into our economic development. So when you go to work, Chris, I'm just curious, what is a day in the life of the city manager? Tell us what that looks like.
Well, it varies widely day to day. We meet Tuesdays, so there's kind of a cycle as you go through the week. Later in the week, of course, you're getting ready for the next Tuesday's meeting, so putting together agenda items. Kind of on a normal day to day, it's just addressing citizen concerns, city council, the mayor concerns, and then trying to carve out some time to plan for the future, right?
Yeah.
So we're in the budget season now.
Right.
We will be rolling out those workshops here in the next couple weeks to try to develop next fiscal year's budget. And so I've been working on that quite a bit. But things change. Tuesday, what was not on my calendar was the LNVA levy breach.
Oh, yes,
so,
right.
that was not on my schedule for that day, as it wasn't anyone's, I don't think. And
Right.
so, you have to recalibrate and
Yes.
react. And so,
Yeah, be a
It
calm
changes
in the
day to day.
storm.
yeah, changes day to day.
Yeah. So tell us what's coming up, some of the exciting things you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, so again, we, like everybody, were affected by inflation and fuel
Right.
prices, especially because of the size of the fleet, police, fire, EMS, all of our work trucks. So the good news is, our revenues are kind of keeping up, where we can afford to, not have to cut services in any way, keep trying to do what we're doing. And so as we go into the budget, it's looking good. We have a pretty aggressive program. Of course, we're an older city, just celebrated 180 years a couple of years ago. So, we have older infrastructure in certain parts of town especially, and so we have a pretty aggressive program to fix our streets. We've got about $16 million that we're spending right now to try to fix streets. We've got a drainage program of about $4 million to improve our drainage ditches, stormwater system, of course, water and sewer upgrades. We've got about a $20 million program right now trying to, repair older pipes. So, not too exciting stuff, but it's important stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you have an older car and you really want a new stereo system, but your tires are bald.
Right.
And so it's just not fun buying stuff that keeps you going, but it's necessary. So I can see that. I bet that's the hard part about, in the city you want all the pretties, but you can't just do pretties.
Right. So, quality of life is a priority for the city because, we want to retain our folks, we want to attract new folks, and so quality of life is a priority. The good news is we do have revenue where we are able to carve out funding for that. So,
Yeah.
Our 36 parks, we do over 50 events downtown, so and across the city really. So it's whether it's movies in the park or events downtown with you've got the craft beer festival. We did Juneteenth, 4th of July. So we certainly have a pretty aggressive quality of life program. But you're right, we've got to focus on public safety, police, fire, EMS, of course, and our infrastructure. That's
Right.
kind of sticking to the knitting. But we are fortunate we do have a pretty aggressive quality of life program.
We really do. And I love that about our city. One of the things that always shocks me, I take new folks out, and we do a tour of the area. And I often have them meet at lunch with some of the locals, somebody who's local, maybe in the industry that they are coming in with. When I've done that in the past and we're sitting there talking about some of the things that we have, for instance, the Beaumont Events app that you can download on your phone so that you can know what's going on in Beaumont. I'm always shocked and amazed at how many people locally aren't aware of all of the wonderful, exciting, amazing things that we have going on.
Yeah, you hear it all the time. Oh, there's nothing to do. It just means they're not looking. Right?
Yeah.
And so, if you go to the app, you go to Beaumont Events. There's a lot of stuff. I'm just
Even
looking,
on Facebook.
Yeah. So there's movie nights downtown. Robert Earl Keen's coming in August 21st. We've got Jazz at the Lake August 25th. Craft Beer Fest September 17th. We've got the Symphony, Oak Ridge Boys. So that's just a few of the events coming up in the next month or two. And so it's a pretty aggressive pretty aggressive agenda.
There's also the CVB, which is working really hard to bring others into our area to generate that revenue. And I get to be a part of the CVB a little bit. And we just had the Beat Baseball. The World Series is today, so I'm not sure who won that, but let me just say we had so much fun volunteering out there.
It was incredible.
It was, and watching that, so that's the CVB does an excellent job of drawing people to our area to also increase that revenue for those tax dollars.
Yeah, definitely an overlap of quality of life. But yeah, Dean Conwell, Freddie Willard, they did a great job bringing that group here.
Yeah.
I mean, I rode by yesterday. There were license plates from all over the country.
Yes.
Just all over, and other countries. I think it translated to about 1,700 room nights.
Yeah.
So you think about all those people coming in, staying, visiting our city, eating in our restaurants,
Yeah.
shopping. It's just a
fantastic.
great thing.
And it was a lot of fun,
It was,
meeting them, and they talked about how just genuinely kind and gracious the people of Southeast Texas were. And so it's constant that the city is working not only to improve the quality of life of our citizens, but also to bring others into our area to be able to generate that additional tax revenue.
Yeah, and that's one thing I will add is we kind of have a narrative sometimes that maybe Beaumont, there's nothing to do, or maybe it's not growing like it should. But that's one of the things we're trying to do downtown is really change that narrative. So we have a new
Right.
communications group.
Yeah.
So they're getting that information out, trying to change that narrative. A lot of good stuff going on. And so
We're excited. I'm really excited to watch what's going to happen and see what's coming to our area. Well, we're going to take a break here shortly, but I want to remind you that we do have a couple of open houses today. We have Lauren Camacho at 19 Oakley Boulevard in Beaumont. If you want to swing by there, she can give you a tour of that gorgeous home. And then Jessica Wellborn is at 1095 Cedar Ridge. If you're watching on Facebook Live, or if you haven't gone to Facebook Live yet, and you can go after the fact, we just listed an amazing house in the Crescent. It's on the water. It's Lakeside Drive. It is amazing. It's 1.22 acres. It has a deck over the water. It has an outdoor kitchen, an outdoor fireplace. It is gorgeous. Go take a look at our video we're about to show you on Facebook Live and take a tour. But when we come back, we're going to have Kristi Dourian talking about interest rates and what you need to know about what's going on. And listen, Kristi, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you what's going to happen. Get your crystal ball out. So you're not going to want to go away. This is the Dayna Simmons Show, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Dayna Simmons, and I am with Kristi Dourian of First Financial Bank, and I'm also have Chris Boone, who is the interim city manager for the City of Beaumont, and we've been talking about economic development, what's coming to Southeast Texas, and Chris, I think you wanted to share a little bit about what you guys have going on with that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on that we do have a new communications division, as I mentioned, but we also have a new website that they have put together. It's BeaumontTXDevelopment.com, all that's together. And the new website it's kind of multifaceted. So one is really kind of an economic development PR piece, but it's a real-time access to permits and activity going on. So you can go, if something's being built, you can go to a map real-time and see what that is.
That's so cool. It's funny that you say that because my husband just this morning was saying, if I want to see if something's being built, it's like you heard our conversation earlier today. Where would I go to find that information? So give us that website again.
Yes, so BeaumontTXDevelopment.com. That's all together, and that will take you to this economic development website. And so it'll give you access to those maps with what's going on in the city, but also gives a quick overview of some of the economic development incentives we have. But also, most importantly, it will put you in touch with our staff at the One Stop Permitting Center downtown, which will allow you to kind of course, set up an appointment, come in and meet. Because the key, I think, is to meet the folks that are involved in the development construction process, because there's a lot to it that's kind of mandated by the state and the feds that we don't necessarily want to do, but we have to do.
Right.
And so to help everybody get through that process as quickly as possible, this can lead you to that group to try and set up those meetings.
Is that the group that Bo Hansen is now working with? He's like one of my favorite people. Let me just say, I was so excited for him to get to go to the City of Beaumont and do that. He's an amazing guy. So excited.
Great asset.
He is a huge asset for you guys. I'm so excited that you guys got him. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and after the show, we're going to post that to our Facebook page. So anyone who didn't get a chance to put that down or write that down, I'll go ahead and make sure that we post it on our Facebook page, and you can take a peek at that. I'll also remind you about the app that you can go to. It's Beaumont Events. Kristi, I think you just downloaded it.
I did. I found it, and if you search Beaumont Events, it'll come up.
Yeah, so
City
in your
of
app
Beaumont.
store, and when you go to that, it gives you all the things that there are to do in Beaumont, and there are so many things to do if you're looking for them. So download that app and take a peek. But Kristi, we wanted to wrap up today just talking a little bit about, we talked about the Fed raising rates. So tell us a little bit about how that does impact interest rates for a mortgage versus what it really impacts here right now.
Sure. So the Fed, when the Fed increases their rate, that really affects short-term rates, variable rates. It can affect ARMs, but the direct impact isn't to mortgage interest rates. The Fed rate affects how short-term loans happen between banks on overnight to keep their reserves at a certain level. But indirectly, the Fed, can affect mortgage rates whenever we're, considering things like economic outlook and their monetary policy. This week, kind of unexpected, we saw a drop to mortgage interest rates, and mortgage rates followed the bond yield. And if you think about it in terms of what a bond is, whenever you invest in a bond, you become a lender, and the entity, the corporation or the government that, they're paying you interest. It's a loan. And so that kind of makes sense in my mind. When you think of bond interest rates rising or falling, that's really where mortgage, interest rates are kind of follow suit.
Right.
But I just looked at rates this morning, and I kind of don't believe my eyes. I think we're under 5% again right now on a 30-year fixed conventional mortgage with excellent credit scores. So it's just
Still a very good rate.
It
mean, when
is.
we talked about, you talked about 2008. Remind us again what the interest rate was in 2008.
I think it said 6.8
Yeah. So
was the average.
the fact that we're still below 5 at this point, if someone is thinking, whether or not they want to buy a home. Let me just say, we do see our inventory improving slightly. You know, we were at less than 2 months of inventory for so long. And at this point, we're at about 3 months of inventory. So while it's still a tight market, it's still a great market. I know for our office, we saw a whole lot of listings in the last 2 weeks that are coming online. So
That's great.
we've got more houses that are coming on the market. So if you're considering it, you need to sit down and visit with a mortgage lender and see if now's the right time for you.
Yeah.
You know, you, Kristi, and our office, we never want someone to get into a position that is not right for them.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't cost them anything to sit down and just visit with you about what that looks like.
That's correct. Yeah. We can sit down and have a conversation in person. We can talk on the phone. We can talk about, you know, what your goals and needs and wants are. And one of the encouraging things too that I'm seeing right now is that whenever we enter, you know, times of drastic inflation and recession, we've got the earmarks of recession coming. You know, I always say that need is going to drive consumer decision. People are still going to need to buy houses. There are life changes, whether it's your family has grown or you're downsizing or you're relocating. Those things are always going to drive consumer decisions. But I still see a lot of people making these moves out of desire. Like now is still a good time for us. And you just really have to focus on the positive.
Yeah, and you talk about the need. When we talk about economic development and when Chris talks about, you know, all that he sees coming to Southeast Texas, and when we've talked to our other economic development directors and we see the increase in what's coming to our area, the need is still there.
Yes.
And the need is going to continue. When, Chris, you were talking about additional apartments. I mean, the fact that people are investing in that, that's
I'd love to see more condos, personally. Warrantable condos.
Yeah, we're seeing more apartments. We're seeing you know, some out-of-town builders that we traditionally have not had coming into the market, looking for to build more starter homes.
Right.
That kind of segment. But yeah, what our permitting and platting reflects is they're chasing that demand.
Yeah, still a lot of single-family housing being built here locally to be able to create that. Well, it has been such a joy to have you guys here on the show today, and I can't tell you how much great information that you gave not only to our listeners, but listen, I learned a whole lot. So I didn't know about the new decisions that were made, the $4 billion coming to Southeast Texas, to Beaumont. I didn't even hear about that. Yeah. So I'm so excited, and it keeps me excited about what's going on here. So I just want to thank you, Chris, for being here. And if someone has a need or a question for the city, how do they get in touch with the city to find those answers? I know you gave us that one website about economic development, but what are some other resources to get a hold of people in the city?
Yeah, the quickest and easiest thing is either go to our webpage or just dial 311.
Yeah,
because,
I've done that a lot.
We close out about 100,000 tickets a year.
Yeah.
So whether it's a complaint about a pothole, which we usually address within a couple days, high grass, or just
Just a question.
Just a question.
Yeah.
What time is the show?
Yeah.
Coming up on Friday. They're there to answer those questions.
I've utilized that so many times with just questions or where can you direct me? What area of the city do I need to talk to? And they've been so helpful. I'm gonna tell you, they're very nice and they do a great job. Yeah. So Kristi, anyone who is thinking about buying a house and just wants to know, can they qualify? Is it the right time? Can they afford it? How would they get a hold of you?
Sure. The best way is my work cell phone number anytime. It's 409-238-1030. You can find me online. You can, I kind of float between branches here. Primarily, I'm at Dayna's office, so you can find me on Dayna's webpage too. But yeah, 409-238-1030.
Yeah, and so Kristi, you were talking about you float between branches. First Financial Bank has branches all over Southeast Texas.
That's right. And
So
we've got a new one coming to Lumberton. We're very excited.
yeah, that's
So
going to be opening, what is it, October, end of September?
I think, yes.
Yeah,
I think
in the
so.
fall, just in time for football, because it's right
5
there
minutes.
next to Lumberton High School.
Yes,
So,
we're really excited about the Lumberton branch.
yeah, it's going to be awesome. So if you say, hey, I want to talk to someone in person, Kristi can go to any of those branches that's nearest to you.
Yes, I can come to you.
That's
I have
right.
the flexibility that allows me to do that. And it's because it's all about, what's best for my borrowers. We know that you can't always meet in the middle of the workday.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may have difficulty, if you're tech challenged uploading documents. I've gone to pick up documents in person before.
Yeah. It's you do whatever's necessary for the
Absolutely,
client. So
we do.
and available. That's the other thing. And the same thing with our office. We are available. Our hours are actually 8 to 8, Monday through Saturday, 1 to 8 on Sunday. So if you ever have a question or a need, you can always call our office at 409-866-8326, which is 409-866-TEAM. It has been so fun today. I'm so excited and thankful that you joined us. I hope you have a great Saturday. And this is Dayna Simmons with the Dayna Simmons Show.